Friends, in the earlier classes we have dealt with what is constitution, how the constitution was framed, and we have also seen what is the part 1, part 2 and part 3 of the constitution, and we have solved some model questions on these topics also. Now we will be dealing with part 4 of the constitution, which talks about directive principles of state policy. See, these directive principles of state policy are very important as far our exam is considered, and we in short call these them as DPSP. And these directive principles of state policy have been explained under Article 36 to Article 51. So, what is the meaning of directive principles of state policy? Here it's clearly saying the name itself, directive principles of state policy. These are the principles which direct the state to consider, to keep in mind while framing a policy and enacting the laws. So these are the ideals that the state should keep in mind while formulating policies and enacting laws. And these principles aims at realizing the ideals of justice, liberty, equality, fraternity as outlined by the preamble of the Constitution. They embody the concept of the welfare state. See, these directive principles embody the concept of welfare state, and whereas we have seen fundamental rights, those fundamental rights talks about the rights of an individual. Whereas these directive principles of state policy talks about these are just like principles related to a group of people. So these try to establish the concept of welfare state, right? So what is the source of our DPSP? This DPSP has been borrowed from Irish Constitution, Ireland, that is Ireland, and this is the major source. This major source for this DPSP is Instrument of Instruction that was enumerated in Government of India Act 1935. See, in the first class we have seen that Government of India Act 1935 is very important as per Constitution is considered, because it has presented as the skeleton. So in that Government of India Act 1935, that Instrument of Instructions were enumerated. Those instructions, Instrument of Instructions and RDPSP, these resemble one and the same. Almost they looks like same. So these are the instrument of instructions also. So the DPSP are called instrument of instructions also. If someone asks you, like in the exam, the question may come like this: which of the following are considered as instrument of instructions? Fundamental rights, DPSP, or fundamental duties, or Constitution itself. So you should be able to identify that it's a DPSP. And like some comments about our Constitution or DPSP. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said novel features of Constitution. So DPSP, as he said, DPSP as these are the novel features of the Constitution, and Granville Aston has declared that DPSP and as well as fundamental rights put together, these two are concerns of the Constitution. These are the comments about the Constitution. Okay, comments about the DPSP and fundamental rights in our Constitution. Okay, then what are the features of DPSP? This direct the state and every one of its agencies to follow the certain fundamental principles while framing the policies. They clearly direct the state what are the principles to be followed while framing a laws. And second thing is these when they are directing, this guarantees the people that what can expect from the government. At the same time, they direct the state to state and central government to establish and maintain a social order. This is very important. So when they are directing the state to give the principles which are to be followed, it means that it is guaranteeing some individuals, so that what you can expect from the state, and at the same time that it is asking the state to maintain a social order. The very important thing is these are not justiciable. Like court cannot enforce DPSP. As we have seen in the fundamental rights, those are justiciable. Justiciable means court can give your fundamental rights back, but whereas in the case of DPSP, that the court cannot enforce this fundamental DPSP, because what is the reason that these are not justiciable? See friends, well, our Constitution was commenced from 1950. So when our Constitution was commenced, the situation of India in 1950, it was very poor, and it could not give guarantee of all the rights and all the principles to citizens of India. But at the same time, that the constitution makers could not ignore all the rights and principles that are required for the welfare of the state. So what they did is that they split the rights into two parts. One is called as fundamental rights, and second one is called as a DPSP. So, and the DPSP and fundamental rights, those are very fundamental in nature. So they were given, they were said like they can be justiciable, means that the court can enforce that fundamental rights. Whereas DPSP, they said that these are not justiciable, and these are directly given in the constitution. It means that the government should apply these principles in making the laws, and the Supreme Court will not interfere in the DPSP, in enacting the DPSP. That is what given in the, is one of the feature of the DPSP. So these are not justiciable. Okay, then what are the DPSP? And let us see what are the DPSP by article by article. So in Article 36, DPSP, like the definition of the state was included. So what is the definition of the state under Article 36? See friends, the Article 36, now we have studied fundamental rights. In that fundamental rights, the Article 12 defined what is the state. The state is nothing but a state government or central government or any other body, like any other statutory and non-statutory bodies. So that was a state. In Article 36 also the same state which is defined under Article 12. And Article 37 says that application of these principles, like application of principles, like application of DPSP, it talks about application of DPSP. And what about the application of DPSP? Application of DPSP shall be the responsibility of the state. It's clearly saying it is the only responsibility of the state, not of the court. Means these are not justiciable. This is said in Article 37. And Article 38 says that to promote the welfare of the people of the securing a social order. See, these DPSP are instructions to instrument of instruction to the government. So these governments should promote, government should act in such a way that to promote the welfare of the people by securing a social order. This was given under 38. So in the right side column, you can see that socialistic, Gandhian, socialistic, liberal. So I'll give just a glimpse of that. DPSP were classified into three categories. One is based on the Gandhian principles, and second one is based on the socialistic principles, and third one is based on the liberal principle. See, which seeks like whatever the principle which is oriented towards socialistic approach. So that is said as a socialistic directive principle, and which is based on the Gandhi dreams, that is called as a Gandhian principle, and which is very liberal in nature. Like liberal in nature in the sense like to maintain international relations, like to protect wildlife. So these are all called like they're liberal. It seems very liberal. So they are liberal policies. So we'll see one by one. So first look at the policies directly. The first one is like 38th Article 38. It said that to promote the welfare of the people by securing a social order. So this is what the DPSP says, that the government should promote the welfare of the state by welfare of the people by securing a social order. So this is in socialistic in nature. So this is a socialistic DPSP. And 39, this is very important. Here certain principles that are to be followed by the state is given. Like what is this? See, government should provide certain means of livelihood for each and every citizen, and it should see that the wealth of the people will prevention of concentration of the wealth. So wealth should not be concentrated in one place. So that is the reason government makes many laws. So monopoly is not accepted. Like monopoly trade restrictive policies, such kind of acts were given. Acts were framed because of this prevention of concentration of wealth. And equal pay for equal work for men and women. Don't think that equal pay for equal work for men and women is given by the constitution. See, this is provided under this DPSP, because DPSP is just this is the responsibility of the states to see that equal pay for equal work for men and women. But still in India it is not possible. But as it is not possible, you cannot move to the court because these are not justiciable. So keep it in mind. Opportunities for healthy development of children. So this is socialistic approach, like right to adequate means of livelihood, the equitable distribution of material sources, like and prevention of concentration of wealth and everything, like equal pay for equal work for men. These are socialistic in nature. So these are socialistic principles. Then what about the next? This is 39A. 39A means, like, see friends, A, B, these are included by Amendment Acts. So this is also included by Amendment Act. So what is Amendment Act? We'll see in the bottom of the end of the class. So it talks about to promote the equal justice and to provide free legal aid to the poor. So it says that equal justice is to be promoted and to provide the free legal aid to the poor and needy, whoever are needy. And 40, it is to organize the village panchayats and making necessary provisions to them and to function as a units of self-government. So it says that village panchayats has to be established and they should be given rights so as they should act as self-government. So 73rd Amendment Act that plays an important role while realizing this 40th article 40th. So it says that villages were, as per the 73rd Amendment Act, villages were given independent status, and we'll see what are the things Panchayat Raj system, what are, Panchayat Raj system was established. So we'll see that in due course of time. So this is the vision of Gandhi. So that was enshrined in the Article 40. And Article 41 talks about right to work, education, and to public assistance in certain cases. And 42 talks about provision of just and humane conditions of work and maternity relief. This is related to women, and this says that just human conditions of work, like they should be provided human conditions to work, proper food, proper ambience and proper work environment should be provided, and women should be given a maternity relief. This is given by the Article 42. And Article 43 talks about living wage for workers. So what is the meaning of living wage? And you might have heard the concept of minimum wage. Minimum wage and living wage are different. Minimum wage is nothing but a wage which directly talks about the mere subsistence of the people. So what is a mere subsistence of the people? Like a wage which can bring a basic shelter, basic food, and basic clothing to the person is called a minimum wage. Whereas a living wage is a broader concept. It includes a minimum wage, and as well as it includes the education, like a wage which give access to the education, a wage which gives access to the finance, a wage which gives access to the insurance, and all these things were included in the living wage. So living wage is a broader concept. And Article 43 also talks about the promotion of cottage industries and cooperatives in rural areas. 43A and 43B, these are very important because these are the constitution amendments. So these were included as per the Amendment Act, under the Amendment Acts. What are the Amendment Acts? We will see now. 43A says that government should take steps to secure participation of workers in the management of industries. Like industry should not be run only by the industrialist, but industrialist or government, solely by the government, but workers also should be given participation of the workers also should be given participation in the management of industries. That is what talked by the Article 43A. And Article 43B, it talks about the promotion of cooperative societies. It's a Gandhian vision, like wherever village, cooperative societies, women, especially women, like very liberal policy regarding the women and men comes, it is a Gandhian policy. Yeah, and Article 44, it's a uniform civil code for the country. This is very important. Article 44, like constitution makers have dreamt of civil code, uniform civil code for the country. But see friends, this is very important in the sense that it is not materialized in India still. So we don't have any uniform civil code for the country. Best example I can give that if you go and look into the acts regarding the marriage, you'll be having different types of acts in India. So there is no uniform act which says that marriage should be performed in this way. This is called a marriage because India is very diverse country, which is have a place for the many kinds of religions, Muslims, Hindus, and everything. Everyone traditions and customs are different in nature. So the laws were designed in such a way that which fulfills the traditions, which fulfills aspirations, and which resembles the traditions and customs of the religions or communities. So that is the reason we have different civil codes. A uniform civil code for the entire country is not yet realized in the India. So people, government and Supreme Court is also asking the government to frame such a law which gives a uniform civil code for the country, but it is not yet materialized. Remember that this is under 44. And also you need to remember that Article 40 talks about village panchayats. This is also very important. Article 44 is also very important. And Article 45, this is very important, friends. Article 45, this is the provision of early childhood care and education of children below age of 6 years. You might have seen, we have seen in the last class also, that the education to the children in article in fundamental rights, but their education of children, that is from 6 to 14 years, but here only age of till the age of 6 years. It is a provision of early childhood care and as well as education to the children below the age of 6 years, but whereas we have seen it is children from 6 to 14 years. So this is a very liberal principle. And whereas 46th article says that the promotion of the education and economic interest of the state should make such a policy in order to promote the education and economic interest of the weaker sections of SCs, STs and other sections of the societies. So this indeed this is a provision. This is saying that like the state should give some importance to these. So indeed this is one of the cause for the reservations. And Article 47, it's a prohibition of intoxicating drugs and drinks, and so that it should state should strive for raise of level of nutrition and standard of living. State should increase the level of standard of living and it should ban the intoxicating drugs and drinks. So that is what about Articles 47. And Article 48, it says about the organization of agriculture and animal husbandry along the scientific lines. Like along the scientific lines, that the organization of agriculture and animal husbandry has to be done. So Green Revolution was came into picture, and it fulfilled the aspirations of the farmers and by on scientific lines. And 48A, this is safeguarding the forests, wildlife of the country, thereby protecting and improving the environment. This is about Article 48A. And 49C is that this is protecting monuments and places of artistic and historical importance, which are to be declared with a national importance. Whatever the monuments which are of a national importance, to protect and safeguard this national importance, state should make such rules and laws so that it will be protected. This was said by Article 49. So it seems it's a very liberal nature. And separation of judiciary and executive, clearly saying that judiciary and executive should not be mixed. These two should be separated. That was given under Article 50. And Article 51 says that promotion of international peace and security. So country should, like state should ensure that this promotion of international peace and security is maintained by maintaining relations between the nations. So these are the basic clearly these are the DPSP what we are discussing, 36 to 51. So yeah friends, so we have seen what are the directive principles of state policy by article. Now we will see that in the next class we will see that how these were classified, what are the socialistic, liberal and principles, and how this government has ensured them to the citizens, and what is the difference between the fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy.